Come on. Come by. Here. Come by. Come by.
Liam collapsed against the cold steel, his head throbbing with agony, until a warm, wet touch grounded his soul. They said she was broken, but she was just waiting to reveal her only miracle. Liam was a man of the earth, a rugged shepherd whose soul was as weathered as the jagged peaks surrounding his vast, lonely farm. But his flock was vulnerable, and he desperately needed a guardian whose spirit matched the ferocity of the wilderness. He walked into the high hill shelter, a place where hope usually went to die, breathing in the scent of damp concrete and forgotten dreams as he scanned the rows of desperate eyes staring back from behind rested cages. Suddenly, a lightning strike of white-hot pain shattered his skull, a migraine so violent it felt like his brain was being crushed by a vice, forcing him to reach out blindly and grip the freezing metal bars of a kennel just to keep the world from spinning into darkness. In that moment of absolute vulnerability, he felt a sensation so tender it bypassed his skin and touched his very heart, a warm, rhythmic licking on his hand that acted as an anchor in the storm of his pain. Looking down, he met the gaze of a massive, jet-black dog, whose eyes weren't just sad, they were vast, deep oceans of shared suffering and ancient wisdom, making him whisper a joke about ethics to hide his growing tears. The shelter worker's laughter was a soft contrast to the heavy silence as she corrected him, revealing that this wasn't just a big boy, but a majestic lady named Ash, a mother who had endured the unthinkable tragedy of losing an entire litter except for one tiny, fragile soul. Ash disappeared into the shadows of her kennel for a heartbeat, only to return with a small, trembling ball of fur clutched gently in her powerful jaws. Axe, the miracle survivor she was desperate to show the world. Liam felt his chest tighten, his breath hitching as he looked at the 130-pound powerhouse offering her her most precious treasure. And in that instant, the paperwork, the chips, and the finality of her being the first and last mother of her line didn't matter. If you're watching this and haven't subscribed yet, I have to say I'm a little heartbroken. Stories like this need your support. Hit that subscribe button right now. You won't regret it. Now, back to what happened next. As the ink dried on the adoption papers and the vet confirmed that Ash had been sterilized to ensure her journey as a mother ended with this one heroic act, Liam knew he wasn't just taking home a sheepdog, he was bringing home a legacy that would redefine the meaning of family on the mountain. The moment Liam clicked the heavy collar open and released Ash onto the emerald grass of the highlands, it was as if a suppressed explosion of pure, unadulterated joy detonated within her powerful frame. She didn't just run, she launched herself like a heat-seeking missile of freedom, her massive paws thundering against the earth like a rhythmic war drum as she tore through the valleys and conquered the hills with a speed that blurred the horizon. Liam stood there, paralyzed by the sheer beauty of her liberation, holding the tiny, wide-eyed axe in his arms while watching the mother reclaim the wild spirit that the shelter's cold bars had tried to extinguish. For 2 long months, the farm became a sanctuary of patience, where the typical rules of labor were suspended, allowing a bond to fuse between the human, the mother, and the son that was stronger than any titanium chain. Every single morning, as the sun bled gold over the ridges, Liam would lead the duo into the heart of the flock, letting the scent of wool and the sound of bleeding sheep weave into their DNA, until they didn't just see the herd, they felt it as a part of their own pack. Ash transformed into a living fortress, a sentinel of shadows that moved with the grace of a panther and the authority of a queen. Her every movement a masterclass in vigilance for the stumbling, energetic Axe who followed her every footstep with worship in his eyes.
The little puppy's legs were short, but his heart was a raging furnace of ambition, pushing his tiny body until his lungs screamed for air, only for Liam to scoop him up and carry him the rest of the way so he could continue watching his mother's legendary work. It was a beautiful, slow-motion dance of mentorship, where the fierce, protective instinct of a mother was being meticulously carved into the soul of a future king, ensuring that the safety of the valley would never be compromised. And here's where it gets incredible, because as the seasons bled into years, the tiny paws that once struggled to keep up began to grow into massive, bone-crushing pillars of strength that could outrun the wind itself.
Today, the mountain belongs to a new legend, a towering 180-pound powerhouse named Axe, whose very bark sends shivers through the spine of any predator daring to lurk in the shadows. Yet he remains the same gentle soul who once hid behind his mother's tail. Ash is no longer the primary guardian, her coat now dusted with the silver of honorable age, but she remains the silent architect of his greatness, walking beside him as a wise advisor, while her son commands the hills with a presence that is nothing short of majestic. When Liam sits with his friends, sharing a laugh as the sun sets behind the peaks, they ask him about the secret to his success, and he simply gestures toward the two black silhouettes standing guard over thousands of lives. He tells them with a smirk that he doesn't just run a farm, he runs a high-stakes family business where the board of directors consists of a mother who gave everything and a son who carries her fire in his veins. The sight of Axe standing on the highest ridge, his chest expanded and his eyes scanning the horizon for the slightest hint of danger, is a living testament to that fateful day in the shelter when a simple headache led Liam to the greatest partners he would ever know. Ash watches him with a pride that is visible in the slow, rhythmic wag of her tail, knowing that her legacy is secure and her miracle boy has become the savior she always knew he could be. The bond they share isn't just about sheep or land, it's about the invisible threads of gratitude that connect a rescued soul to the man who gave her the mountains. As the stars begin to pierce the velvet sky, the family business remains in the best possible hands, proving that sometimes the most broken beginnings lead to the most invincible endings. If this story touched your heart and you're still not subscribed, please don't wait any longer. Hit that subscribe button. What would you do in this situation? Tell me in the comments below. If this story moved you, please hit that like button. It helps more people find these incredible stories.